finger? Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and trade fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. It is Tuesday, the final day of the month of April. Tomorrow, we got FOMC, and the markets are selling off. We're going to be taking a look at everything that we need to look at today. Do a little pulse check, breathe, do a little pulse check, see how the markets are looking, how we're feeling, and are we in trouble or are we on track? We're going to do all that right now as Bitcoin is fighting to hold $61,000, Ethereum fighting to hold $3,000, and we're seeing sell-off from the ETF, that's the word, ETF over in China. So, guys, stick around. Let's do this. It's time. Classes in session. I'd like to buy a vowel and solve that puzzle, Alex. Mixing it all up there. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome to Piper Academy, guys. We're going to be, today, we're going to be doing a nice little chill episode. We're going to look at some news articles. We're going to look at some charts. And really, it's going to be, hey, what's going on with my asset? I am getting wrecked over here. Can you please take a look at it, guys? And we're going to do that today. So that's what the plan is. If you guys got any assets you want us to check out, drop it down in the chat below now, and we'll go ahead and get into that. But I'm not going to be doing the TA by myself. I've got an amazing team of analysts up here with me, TradeFly and the OC guy, either of which could have gotten the words ETF out when they need to. So what's up, fellas?
Well, let me practice this. ETF. Got it.
Good job.
Right.
Nailed it, dude. Nailed it.
Nailed it. So yeah, man, having a little dumpsy do this morning, but not surprising. So if you guys were in our Discord, we did drop that I think the day before yesterday, actually, that this was the range that we were thinking about coming down to was 60 to 61K. So, no big surprises here. But alts are feeling the pain a little bit. But hey, we're at a support range. Could get a little bounce. So let's hope for the best. Fingers crossed. And
absolutely,
let's get into the show.
OC, what's up? How you doing, bro?
Doing fantastic. A little bit tired, but nothing that my legendary aviation coffee cannot fix. Remember, it's just 10% off. And if you do it in an espresso machine, it just gets beautiful and very, very tasty. So a quick tip there. So other than that, I'm ready to rock and roll. And yes, I had a fake out on my head and shoulders lines. Well, now rooftop lines. Nonetheless, as TradeFly mentioned, we are on a support.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go ahead, jump in. We got economic data that came out today. It's not as big as tomorrow's data, but we're going to go ahead and jump into that and get through that stuff first. Guys, fear and greed index sitting at 67. We're still in greed. Tomorrow, I'm betting it's probably getting closer to neutral tomorrow. We'll see. Every time I say that, we end up getting a pump in the afternoon, which, kind of shakes it out and resets it. So jump over here, crypto bubbles for the day. You can see that Kronos, that's the native stable coin, really, it's a native token for crypto.com. So world token, they're up 2.9%. Athena is up 1.9%. And everything else pretty much red. Let's jump down here and see what we're seeing down here on the market cap. There's that Bitcoin fighting to hold 61K, what we were talking about. Ethereum sitting right at $3,000. There is some news out. We're going to talk about that here in a bit on stable coins. And it has to do with stable coins and banking for marijuana dispensaries. So stick around for that article. I have an interesting perspective on that. Solana still sitting there all red for the month, the week, and the daily. If you guys see these 4 red blocks running across, it's for a month straight. We've been in a sell-off for that. One of the ones that's not that way, we got Tron here, but it doesn't look like anything's moving until we get down here to Kronos, like I just showed you. Kronos doing pretty decent right now. It looks like a lot of people over on crypto.com moving out of their losing cryptos and trying to hold on to Kronos at least to make some APY over there. Likely what's happening with that. It's up 2 positions to number 27. H-bar down 1 position to number 28. Stacks dropping to number 29. Pepe, though, moving up 2 positions there, and Caspa moving back up to number 40. At one time, it was at like number 27. So a little disheartening to see that with Caspa, but I'm still a strong Caspa believer. So let's jump into liquidation, see how we're looking over here. In the past 24 hours, 94,183 traders were liquidated. The total liquidations coming in at $272.7 million. Largest liquidation, it was on Ethereum again. It was $5 million bucks. They're getting sold off. And you can see the amount of longs here in the 24-hour period here, 272 million right there. There it is, 212 million of that was liquidated longs. So, a lot of shorts, a lot of longs getting wrecked by shorts there. The bears are winning. So here's this data that I was talking about that just came out. This is employment cost, guys. So employment cost is, how much does it cost for businesses to do employment, to provide wages and benefits, and then overall their employment cost there. And then we've also got some house price index stuff we're going to look at down here. So employment cost for quarter over quarter, that would be Q1 of this year, actually came in at 1.1%. You can see here previously it was at 0.7%, forecasted to be neutral. That means that the cost of benefits, companies have put more money in, but something you got to remember is we've had an insurance increase in the past every quarter for the past year and a half. So is this one of the benefits is that the health cost, how much it costs for them to provide healthcare insurance for employees is going up. It is very possible, but wages have also gone up, whopping 1.1% overall for employment wages cost. It was previously at 1.1. They actually thought it would come down, stayed neutral. So nothing horrible there. And then overall, this is the overall index aggregating between benefits and wages there, guys. Looking at that, 1.2% was expected to be either at 1% or 0.9, dropping 0.1%, coming in neutral. Actually came in at 1.2. Now, here is something interesting, though. House prices. House price index here, guys. We're looking at house price index month over month and year over year here. This is the big two that I want to see. We came in at 1.2%. Previously, it was down 0.1%, meaning that the home prices for the previous month was down. Well, it actually came in up 1.2. Was expected to be up 0.5% or 0.1%. Came in way over that expectation. And then here on the house price index year over year, house prices up from February of last year by 7% in valuation. So, house prices are staying expensive. There's nothing changing there on that. Now, I do want to point something out here because we're talking about those wages, and I thought this was pretty interesting. If we come over here and we take a look, there we go. 1.1%. I just want to remind you guys, so we'll come over here and take a look at that again. 1.1% increase in wages for how much it's costing. So people are getting, little pay raises, right? About 1.1% for the quarter. Let's go take a look at what I just had up here. This is U.S. food prices in the recent months. It says U.S. food prices have risen by almost 17% in 4 months. This level comparable to 2023 average, yet another example of the recent inflation rebound. So yeah, food prices up 17%, and cost for employment, wages up 1.1%. That is why things are getting rough out there, guys. And the economy is not doing that great right now. I just wanted to show that. So that's why we're going to look at these assets. Are we in trouble, right? That's today's pulse check. That's why we're doing it. Looking at earnings reports today, guys, we do have Amazon coming in after the close today. Eli Lilly, they've got that weight loss drug and diabetes drug that they have. They're the big producer of that. It's on back order. You can't get it anywhere in the country. But that's their earnings report's going to come out this morning before the opening. They actually already happened. PayPal this morning, 3M, McDonald's. What we're looking at, though, for the afternoon, for the when the market closed, Super Microcomputer's, AMD, and Amazon is what we're going to see there, along with Riot. That would be about it for what would interest us, the big seven here and some technology stuff. And then tomorrow, we got CVS, Pfizer, MasterCard, Norwegian, cruise lines, and a bunch of major companies, but nothing really relevant tomorrow morning to our crypto picture. That's what we got there for the news today. Let's jump back over here. TradeFly, what do you think? 1.1% wage increase for the quarter. 14% price increase for food. That's lovely. I love it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. I think we're all feeling the pain. I was just telling you pre-show. I actually went through some of my miscellaneous subscriptions and things of that nature, and I went ahead and cleared those out, changed my insurance, which netted me a couple $100 for the month. So I think some of that will go into DCA, into crypto, and that was one of the things I was talking to you guys about in Discord. We're gonna find a way to incorporate you guys into it, let you guys pick some of the coins for us. But yeah, in terms of the pain, yeah, well, that doesn't make sense. 1%, and then housing's going up, and that sucks. Food's gone up, that sucks. Energy, food. I mean, what else? Gasoline. All that stuff it just keeps adding up, and it's tipping the scales to the wrong side.
Yep,
So
I agree.
unfortunately, yeah, not a good sign, man. Not a good sign at all. But hold
Oh,
strong.
see,
Hold strong, I guess.
are you seeing something similar down there in Mexico? Because you have, that outside perspective. Sometimes we look inside of our little mirror box and we go, "This is everybody," but it's not. It's our own little world. So, down there in Mexico, what are you seeing down there? How are prices now compared to 6 months ago, and how are wages? From people that you talk to, because you don't make your wages from Mexico. You make your wages from your trades and in chart prime. So, what do you have for perspective down there on food cost and wages down there in Mexico, man?
So, I mean, first of all, let me get started saying that we have right now what we're calling a super peso. Right now, our currency money is called a peso, and right now we are hovering in lower areas. Right now, it's at 17 out of what sometime was a 20 versus a U.S. dollar, right? But I mean, that should have been telling you something, that we're doing great in our economy based to the U.S. and that we're being, like going further and better and forward. But the reality is that we've been seeing an increase, a constant increase of what we call the basic food package, or I don't know exactly how to translate it, which includes tortilla, it includes eggs, includes milk, includes coffee, includes I don't remember exactly what else includes, but especially on the tortilla, which most of us consume a lot, it is one of the indications on how we're doing, and that price is just being ramping up. Just to let you know, right now we're seeing counterfeit tortilla. Not only that, we're also seeing counterfeit Coca-Cola. So I mean, that might be giving away what is our perspective right here. So not doing that good. I mean, on price increments, if we start looking and comparing automotive prices, we are above over 50% than starting no than 1 year exactly from now. So yeah, not doing great, not doing great. But still, I think our both governments kind of like play the same role all across the board. So yeah, they said everything is good. They show some data, but when you really compare it to what it does matter, the tails start falling apart.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm actually seeing that in this article here that I'm going to pull up here. We're going to be looking at several articles today, guys, just because that's where all the data is at right now. We need all the data so that we can do our pulse check today. That's what we're doing. Let's take a look at this article here. Says U.S. dollar rallies after Fed preferred measure of wage growth surprises stronger. But there's some details in here, and I just showed you those numbers, but the story that's being told from those numbers may not be the so what may not be matching video and audio up there. So let's jump in here and take a look at this. The employment cost index, which is the combination of benefit cost and wage cost, was at 1.2. So pretty much up from 0.9%. However, I want to point something out here. While the wages component was unchanged, there's a key statement. Wages component was unchanged in that index. Majority of the uptick was an increase in employee benefit cost. So that being said, that means that let's say TradeFly, he works at TradeFly Tradeco, and he's over there doing his job, doing his thing over there, and he looks at his paycheck. His paycheck hasn't really gone up. His cost of the benefits that their company is covering may have gone up, and he may even pick up a portion of that. If the cost of insurance went up and he goes in for renewal for another year of insurance, he might actually have an increase on what his healthcare cost is, his portion, his split that the company is paying for. But wages really did not go up. As it said, wage component was unchanged. Overall index increase came from employee benefit costs. So companies are paying more for this insurance. They're likely going to split that increase with Tradefly. Tradefly is now paying more for his benefits, did not really get a wage increase. Nothing's really changed for him. He's got the same benefits he had last year. He's got the same paycheck he had last year, but he's getting less of it. Benefit cost is costing him more. Company's picking up part of that, thank God, but he's still got it for himself. And at the end of the day, he's paying out more money, getting the same amount of money while everything costs more, as much as 14% for food. So that scenario tells a whole different story when you break it down that way, as opposed to just looking at the numbers. Tradefly, how do people make it in this day and age with paying out more money for food, paying out more money for your benefits, very likely coming up this year, and then your pay really not increasing much because there's so much. Companies can't borrow enough money from banks at this rate to even do anything in growth. So it's pretty bad. What do you think? Like, how are people supposed to make it here? Is Bitcoin the answer? That's the question.
Man, that's going to be tough, right? I don't think people are going to necessarily think Bitcoin when money gets tight. They're going to find ways to cut costs. They're probably going to stop their DCA if they even have one. And I think ultimately that, and I talked about it before when we were in that bear market. I think technically speaking, we had a couple months of GDP was negative. I think they changed the whole definition of recession, but that's here nor there. But, Bitcoin pulled back pretty hard. It pulled back hard with the rest of the markets. And, I think you'll see the same thing. If we really truly get, into a recession, then yeah, I think Bitcoin's price is just going to come down like everything else. And it is hard, man. Like I'll say that my company, I've been very fortunate. They did give us an increase in wages. And it had a lot to do with inflation, right? It wasn't keeping up with inflation. We were only getting, small raises each year. And I want to say a couple of years ago, they went ahead and gave us a nice little bump to try to keep up with it. But I work for a major defense contractor, and they're pretty legit. But I will say that when I go and I look at the money that I'm saving, like every month, I'm still not really saving. I got that increase to keep up with inflation. But it's not keeping up with inflation. Just because they say inflation overall could be at what it was like 6-7% or something crazy. But it's not keeping up, man. And so,
No.
like I said, I went through yesterday and I was like, how can I save money, every month? And I cut things out, some things that I enjoy, but it's what you got to do, especially. For me, I got kids and they got activities, and that's more important to me than, me and enjoying YouTube TV, So.
Absolutely. And we were talking about, businesses are having troubles too. It's not just the employees of the business. Not all business, even let me break something into reality here for you guys. Even when you see like the McDonald's down the road from your house there, that is not a corporate location. That is usually owned by a food group right there in your town. That's one of your local neighbors there somewhere in your city, in your town, that has put up $800,000, $1 million, whatever, to get that location going. They usually have to have a lot of cash as part of their down payment, and then only like a certain amount of it can be on loan. So it's not just not McDonald's that owns that. It's it's like John Henry over there, that Jake Woods or whoever that owns that business, right? And he's the one that's paying that franchise to have that sign out there. Take a look at those small businesses, because a lot of people don't realize this, that small businesses are about a total percentage. More than 50% of small businesses claim that now rents are higher than 6 months ago. And we just saw that, even home increases, right? 43% of small businesses in the U.S. were unable to fully pay their rent in April. The highest share since March 2021. Delinquencies were the largest among restaurants, where 52% became delinquent in April. And then, meanwhile, nearly 60% of firms founded after the pandemic now report that they're earning less than a year ago. Rising inflation and shifts in consumer spending are crushing small businesses. Small businesses, they're the backbone of the U.S. economy. According to the Gavisi letter, small businesses account for 44% of the U.S. GDP. That's troubling. That's why you're not getting the big wage increases there. That's why you're not getting, the match to the inflation rate. And then on top of it, these businesses, they're getting crushed by that inflation rate, also making it a little bit difficult for them to pay out that money too. I mean, obviously, there's things out there like Walmart that could probably pay their employees a little bit more, but restaurants and stuff, if you really think about what an actual restaurant owner makes, it's somewhere around about $180,000 to $200,000. That's your average restaurant owner in America. If he was to pay out even $2 more an hour to his employees, 40 hours a week, average 43 employees, he actually would end up making less than what it would be. It would not be worth the risk that he took to open that business at that point. So at that point, he might as well just go get another job somewhere. So that's what we're seeing right now. So pulse check on the economy as far as job strength, labor strength. Jobs still pretty decent. I mean, yeah, you might have to have 3 part-time jobs. I get it. But as far as overall job offerings, there's still plenty of jobs out there. So I would say that the labor force is decent. I wouldn't say good, but I would say that wages, not that good when you compare it to the inflation rate that you're seeing there. see, I saw that you dropped a link. What was that link for? Do you have any comments on this small business rent delinquency? 43% of businesses not being able to pay their rent in April. So you can go ahead and talk about your link and then talk about that. What are you seeing anything like that? Are you seeing a lot of businesses and storefronts closing up down there in the island area of Mexico where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be touching some sensitive fibers here, and by no means I mean to scare anybody, but we're seeing business closing in the island and also in mainland. You guys know that I'm traveling between Merida and Cozumel. Just if you don't know, there you go. That's my main 2 bases, right? So, what we see is that tourism is not getting where we used to spread the money, and then
You're freezing up on us. Evidently, they're shutting down the internet in Mexico too. So we'll wait for OC to come back. Tradefly, you're over there in California. What are you seeing over there as far as that goes, man?
Yeah, I just put it in chat as well. Our mall's closing down, and so you're seeing like half the mall with just empty shelves. What else just went out of business too? Express. One of the places I go to, like for my business, like casual attire for work, is I like Express. So judge me for what it is. But anyways, they're going under like completely. So yeah, you're just seeing more and more of it. They can't keep up. They can't. I mean, it's ugly. I think it's a lot uglier than what people are really talking about, at least in the mainstream. Like it got a lot of lip service probably a couple years ago, but I don't feel like they're talking about it as much. I know we are, because we're a lot more cognizant of it as the people that are experiencing it. So we're very sensitive to it, and that's why we talk about it a lot. But yeah, it's like I said, a lot of businesses are going out. My mall's closing. They're not renewing leases in the mall either. So.
Yeah, shout out to Bit Innuendo. I welcome disagreements. He said, I disagree with what Piper says. The Fed is going to have to cut rates at some time soon. It will catch everyone by surprise. It's a balance act. And I don't disagree with you, Bit Innuendo, as we're waiting for OC Guy to fill in that spot over here. I don't disagree with you. They will have to eventually, but if they cut too soon, inflation is going to rush back, and then it was all for nothing. So they are really playing this game of chicken, if you will, with the economy, trying to go, okay, look, if we cut too soon, inflation is going to come back. If we cut too late, then we're going to significantly hurt the small businesses that are going to shut down, not come back, which is going to then hurt the labor market. There's a balancing act there that absolutely has to take place. and I would love to be wrong, but I hope that people realize that if it's done too soon, it could be very, very ugly for the economy. And if it's too late, then again, too ugly for the economy. Oh, see, you are back. Did you want to talk about that link that you dropped there? And then we'll get into some Bitcoin chart and take a look at it. But I will tell you guys right now, everything's down. OC, can you hear us? Doesn't look like he can hear us. Okay, let's go ahead and jump over into the Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and jump over into
I will jump on that a little bit with the Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I think we're being kind of deceived a little bit, right? They're telling you that inflation is coming down, which makes you feel like they can have a rate cut. And this is kind of what we've been talking about for the past, like, I'd say 10 minutes, is saying inflation is not coming down. And I know that they know that. They're just not saying it. They're saying, oh, we're doing a great job. We're bringing it down. Like, you got to understand too, like, we got elections coming up. Like, they want to show you how great the economy is, how great Bidenomics is working. And let's face it, it's not. So just understand that what you hear in the mainstream is not what reality is.
Absolutely. Let's jump over and take a look at what I have here. I have this one article that I want to talk about because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but something major happened today. It would be Hong Kong in that ETF here, the word I couldn't say earlier. Bitcoin slipping under 62K right now, fighting to hold 61K. As the Hong Kong ETFs disappoint. Asia's first spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs debuted in Hong Kong with a dismal trading volume. Bitcoin ETH nurse losses after weak demand from the ETF on the first day trading volume just at $11 million. And I think that's all we really need to touch on there. It's just not very good. That ETF that we thought might have a little bit of action in the market, pretty much big nothing burger on top of what we're looking at with tomorrow, because tomorrow's FOMC data, guys. It's going to be out tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get that rate, Fed rate coming in, and then we're going to be getting Jerome Powell speaking about a half an hour after that. So let's get in. Eric Wallace said, what? CNN is lying to me? Yes, absolutely. That is the case. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin here, guys. On the market open this morning, Bitcoin is getting absolutely crushed here. We almost touched as a rejection there on that dynamic reactor last night, but what we're watching here is we are coming into play on the 382, coming in at $60,300 here. We're going to be watching that level close, but again, where I thought we might be heading in the short term was this bottom of this trade band. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. It's this nice little channel that we have. Right there's the top of it, and right there's the bottom of it. And we're coming into play on that bottom band here with confluence on the 0.66 of the golden pocket. That's coming in right at $59,000. Taking a look at the oscillators here to see how we're looking on that. It does look like on the oscillator, we got that nice ribbon flip right there, and we are pushing down with the rejection off that zero line into that bullish zone. Big, huge Heikin-Ashi candle saying continuation to the downside on the relative strength index. Let's go ahead and kick this over to you, TradeFly. See what you got there on your heat map, and then let's just break down some stuff, guys. Let us know in the chat what you want to see for some assets, and we're just going to do a pulse check today on the charts. Nice, easy peasy day of bloody charts. So that's what we're going to look at.
Right on. So I'd say keep it short and sweet here with a liquidation heat map. It still supports a bias to the downside. You got more liquidity that's kind of closer to the price action, and that would kind of line up with where we have support. Now, we are in a support zone. Remember, this is the area we talked about yesterday, was at about 61.3. I said I think it's more likely to come down and clear that out, and that's really based on looking at the charts. Now, if you guys were in the Discord a couple of days ago, I did drop this, right? I did a little bit of TA, dropped that in there, and I was like, hey, we have this trend line that's up to the north side of the price action, all right? And it's trending down and right. You got all of the moving averages trending down and right, and all of those moving averages were on the top side of the price action. So that's a lot of resistance to work through. Not saying it can't break through at some point. It's just the odds statistically are not in your favor. So it's putting downward pressure on the price action. And, you know, if you have liquidity sitting in this range of a super important support area, right? The support range, like I said, goes way back all the way to the left. I think it went back to the area of one of the previous all-time highs. So this area, and you can see, right, like bounce here, bounce here, bounce here. It's obviously going to hold up as support. Here's the bad part. You keep testing this area of support. In my mind, the weaker it gets, and you're starting to see all of the indicators tell you, hey, there's a lot of weakness in the market right now. So again, I mean, we are in an area of support. Like if you want to be a DGen, be a DGen. And, it could be an area that to add to the bag. Hey, 60K Bitcoin. I mean, if you think it's going up long term, may not be a bad play. I would just advise, not financial advice, but definitely put a stop loss. See this wick right here? That's kind of my poop line at about 59.2. If we break that, then I'm looking for a pretty gnarly drop down because we just don't have a lot of volume in here. I don't have the volume profile up because I don't need it. I can see how fast it went through this area. All right, your area of volume last time we were in a range was down here at about 50,500. And what does that support? When we're talking about liquidity, let's go back to the liquidity heat map here. Let's go. Actually, I think we need to go to the 3 months. So give me 1 second. Let's go 3 month because we've talked about this before too. But for those that are new here, haven't been around much, boom, this area right here. I've been talking about this for a long time. All right, this is where I could see us definitely coming back and clearing out some of this liquidity before we ultimately see that continuation of the upside. So keep an eye on that. Again, I have alerts for me personally set here at I think it's 50,500. So not only alerts, I actually have positions already ready to go long at that point. So I'd be very comfortable with seeing some kind of price action off of that area.
Awesome. We had a request for Rune, and then someone asked about Crow. Is it even worth it? So let's jump over here real fast and talk about what Crow is. So Crow is not bad. When you look at that, you can make a little bit of APY on it. If you're looking for a place to drop your money over, is it better than a stable coin? It depends on the market trend. I would say, for the most part, if you're trading on crypto.com, then Crow is worth it. There's a lot of perks to holding it because you get more yield and so on and so forth with what you're holding in there for staking, which is not locked up, by the way. It just earns yield based on how much Crow you have. But beyond that, no, I would say I'm not a big fan of Kronos. I actually sold all of my Kronos off quite a while ago after it did a nice bear market wrap up. At the end of the bear market, that big rally it did, I sold it off and moved it into better products and better projects. That's not financial advice, but yeah, that's what I had there. We had a request for Rune. If one of you guys want to pull up Rune.
Crow is based off of crypto.com though, right?
Yeah, it's crypto.com's native token for yielding. Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing though, like crypto.com survived, right?
It did.
It's one of the exchanges that it made it. And it, one of the things I always get worried about is when I see exchange names on uniforms or stadiums. I'm like, oh geez, like that's terrifying to me. But hey, crypto.com arena is still there, man. It's still going strong. They're still advertising here in the local area. You'll see some advertisements here and there. So, that shows me that, they might actually stick around, which is good news, I would say. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think crypto.com's in trouble. Yeah, I don't think they're in trouble by any means. I just don't know that the coin is worth it, especially I can drop it over in USDC on Coinbase and pull in 5.1% APY. So yeah, sure. Half a dozen one way, 6 the other. It is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and jump into CleanSpark. Guys, we now have a request for Rune and Tesla. If you guys want to pull one of those, just let me know. They're in our live chat over on Discord, and I'll see what you guys are pulling. But let's jump over here and check out CleanSpark real fast. CleanSpark getting a little bit of sell-off right now, guys. We did lose this platinum pocket. We had a clean rejection back here on that 887 back here on the 24th of April. So last week, and then downside movement here. We are currently sitting on the dynamic reactor. I am not seeing any major strength on this dynamic reactor right now. As we said just the other day, I believe it was last week, I said, look, if we lose the 786, we're very likely heading down here to the golden pocket. This has been an area of previous support that we've either broke and pulled right back into, or that we found massive support in. So going to be watching those levels, and that level right now coming in at about $15.25 to like 16.14. So right now I am seeing that we do have a little more downside to fall here on the Oscillator Pro and on the RSI to really get us down into these lower levels. So by the time that these are down in these ranges down here, this is most likely going to be down in this golden pocket looking for support there. So if we don't get it, then Clean Spark might be telling a whole nother story. But right now I'm still in buy the dip mode on Clean Spark, and I'm sure Eric Wallen is also. So let's jump over to OC's charts and see what he's got on his, and then we'll come back around to you, Treyfly.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at Rune, and let's apply today's the I have no idea, but I have no doubt strategy, aka spaghetti, right? So let's take a look at, in this case, I'm going to be looking at where things start bunching up together, right? So far it was looking fairly okay. I know it was still moving downwards, right? But it wasn't anything like this, right? It did not have like a absorption zones. It doesn't have like a big body candles that confirm breakthroughs. So far so good, and we start building up a couple of divergences. This triple divergence is already broken because we have a lower low. We can still do another divergence coming from here to somewhere around there, as long as we can do an FOR or flip of the ribbon, basically where we are, so above this previous low, and maybe reach the new the new trend assistance right down there. All right, so what I'm going to be doing then, just to corroborate those areas, is start adding just my spaghetti lines, right? Let's just go very fast, and we can see somewhere around here, which is the previous low, right? When we starting at that, have that support. Then, as you can take a look at here, we have another box. What box? I don't care. Let's just draw it, right? And then we have another line in here. As you can see, it's a different line from the rest of them, so that must be interesting. All right, so again, let's just drop it in here and see where things start bunching up. And as you can see, everything start bunching up right down there. So we keep moving up, and we have a loud box. What is it? I don't know. I don't care. Let's just mark it, right? And by the way, guys, I do know. I do care. But just to show you that you can even trade or do a quality analysis without even have to have like so much knowledge about trading, right? So as you can see, everything start bunching up right down here, and then that is about it. And we have the final order block right down here. And once again, order block. What else we have? Discount zone. Sorry, let's just go with this one again. Another order block, and we have our liquidity areas, big support. So that's why it's dashed. And finally, this other one. So as you can see, where do we have our confluence or our spaghetti? All the way down there. So we can still see a little bit of a drop. But if we lose the 4.24, well, that could be worrying. But let me just touch back on something on Bitcoin, which look at this body candle, right? This big body candle, it is what I could be expecting on Rune for a losing that area. So that big body candle closing below this area right here, that will be worrying, because the next thing you know, it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and off we go. But as long as Bitcoin holds the bottom of the channel that we've been looking for ages right down here, well, then we're still pretty much on the safe zone still. So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Trey Flies, kick it over to you. And also we got we did lose about half of our people. They're coming back now. I'm not sure what happened. Like Caliber saying, glitch in the matrix. Absolutely. And then Blackie Chan said, what was your best performing asset last run, and what are your thoughts on it this run? You guys think about that. We'll come back around and we'll talk about that in a second there. Trade Fly, what do you got for us, man? Looks like Tesla.
Yeah, buddy. Let's look at Tesla. I got on the daily, so it's a little bit more of a zoomed out look. But we did talk about this trend line here in basically confluence with the golden pocket. But let's be honest, the pump that it had was kind of a news-based pump. It just so happened it lined up perfectly with the TA. So I won't say that the TA was spot on there, but it was close. But what do we have now, right? So it's moving up and right based on good news. So if you guys aren't tracking what the news was, they did approve the FSD in China, right? So that's the full self-driving for Tesla. That was the restriction that Piper was talking about yesterday. I went back to like take a look and be like, hey, what was this? And I don't know why that's that big of a deal, but here nor there. Nice little move for Tesla. Congrats if you're in, especially if you got in somewhere in the golden pocket. We all know that that's usually a good area to buy. All right, so right now we are dealing with a little bit of resistance. All right, we have the dynamic reactor, and that's, typically holds up as resistance. And you can see we got a nice little rejection off that area. And that is also with the, let me think here, that's the 100-day SMA. So, next move up is probably going to be around the 0.5. And when you come back and look at the 0.5, I love the way this lines up on the chart, because you see here, very clear support. We had a nice breakthrough, very clear resistance, very clear support. All right, so that gives me kind of the warm and fuzzy that if we move up and right, we're probably going to see an initial rejection off of that area. And it just depends on how long this drags out, but you could see the 200-day actually start to move in that direction as well. But then we have this upper trend line here, right? So we have very clear resistance as well. So you're probably going to see, and this is just, me kind of like plotting it out in my mind, you're probably going to see something a little bit like this, and then a bit of a pullback, and then a little bit like this. And then this is what you have to look at. You got your earnings. All right. So that's going to be in what, July? Or we got an earnings report before that, don't we?
No, we just had earnings. We just had earnings. It'll be July.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it'll be July. So yeah, man, keep an eye on that. And then, if earnings are weak, I don't think Tesla's been doing that great in terms of earnings. So you could see something where it comes up here, touches this area. If earnings are a little bit weak, then you see it kind of come back down and stay in this range. That's kind of what I would be looking for personally for Tesla. So, really, I'd say like high side. I don't know if it's going to push straight up to this area. I think it's going to take a little time to get there. And I think 226 or so is probably going to be like a high side target for Tesla. Still not a bad move, right? If you're thinking about where we are current time, that's still 23% at some point. Just depends on how you play this. But again, right now we're in the middle, and I kind of talk to you guys about that all the time. I don't like being in the middle or at an area of resistance to go long. It's kind of like that wait and see effect. So like if you're in, no harm, no foul in staying in. If you're not in and you like to short the market too, this may be an opportunity based on the earnings. So if the earnings are weak and we're up here near this area of resistance, that could actually be an opportunity for a short. So pretty quick look at Tesla, but that's what I'm seeing on the charts.
Awesome. We just got breaking news that just came through like in the last 12 minutes here. Let's jump over here and check this out. Guys, Coinbase is rolling out the Lightning Network and support Lightning Network support in collaboration with Lightspark here. So Coinbase rolling out this Lightning Network support today, 7 months after the crypto exchange confirmed its decision to integrate the protocol. It officially went live today. It's rolling out this, enabling a faster and cheaper way for users to send, receive, or pay with Bitcoin directly from their account. Previously, Bitcoin transfers on Coinbase were processed on chain, meaning transactions could take between 10 minutes and 2 hours, incurring high fees. Launched in 2017, this layer 2 protocol of the Lightning Network will help to address scalability issues and make that movement cheaper and faster. So Coinbase just locked in on Lightning Network today. So some breaking news there for you. That I thought you guys might want to know. And then I want to jump over here because who bought the dip? Michael Saylor bought the dip, guys, and then we get a sell-off. We should have known if he's buying the dip, it's probably going down. MicroStrategy's invest in 122 more Bitcoin, totaling over $15.2 billion in holdings now. Business intelligence firm MicroStrategy has intensified its investment in Bitcoin by getting that additional 122 in April. MicroStrategy continues Bitcoin shopping. So he's still buying the dip. every time that it comes down. I don't know that that's an indication of that market reversal is coming, because he has always bought the dip. Anytime that he can buy Bitcoin, he has done so. But evidently, he thinks that it's in range of its bottom of this trend movement. So let's jump over to the charts again, guys. What do you guys have? If you got anything up that you want to that you're watching, that you're looking at, we'll do that. And then also, TradeFly, last cycle, what was your number one mover? We had that question that came in. What was your number one earner last cycle, and how do you feel about it this cycle?
Well, first, let's get over to the chat for a second. We got to show some love here for my man, Mr. J, who just gifted 5 Piper Academy memberships. Thank you very much, brother. Yes,
Jay is the man.
My dude. So
I know, right?
Who's the lucky individuals here? We got Trade Intuition. Hey, he's always in the chat. Harp, Chef Webb, Reggie Classics, and Techno God. Congratulations. Get your butts over to the Discord immediately. All right.
Congratulations. And Mr. J, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Did not even see that. TradeFly always got that eye out in the sky looking.
I'm always in the chat, man. I'm always in the chat. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. And what's funny is I just want to point this out. Mr. J is a huge fan of OC Guy over on the Chart Prime Discord. And what's funny is OC actually has to not speak English or not speak Spanish in order to say Jay's name, because there's no J in the Spanish language. So those unlikely friends getting along so well. So shout out to Mr. J. So now, yes, TradeFly, asset last cycle that did great for you. What do you think it's going to do in this coming cycle?
Well, so we've been through this many, many times. All right. I'm not big on hodling. And I've told you, I've been very transparent with you guys. All I did was stake some ETH. But that did well. I got in at about 1,800. And, now current time is at 30 something or 3,000 something. But I did offload some of that at 3,900. Once we got up to about 4K, I thought that was an area of resistance. And we did pull back. So we'll see if it goes back up, if I regret doing that. But yeah, that's what I did. In terms of what it can do in the next cycle, I think that has a lot to do with the ETF. I'm going to be honest with you. I think people were trying to front run it a little bit. I think that's why the price went up so quick to about 4K. And I don't know if we're going to continue that trend or not, right? I see a lot of people starting to kind of push away from Ethereum because of the high gas fees. They're using layer 2s and things that are quicker, more efficient, and cheaper, right? They're developing a lot of projects, NFTs, whatever the case may be, on different projects I don't know. I don't see Ethereum having that strong. I know it's still one of the biggest giants in the space, but I don't see it having the stronghold that it once did on like the NFT game and where we were finding a lot of utility. So no knock on it, but I don't know if it's going to perform as well as it did the last cycle.
Absolutely. I'm in the similar boat to you. Mine was mainly Ethereum last cycle, but I did trade a lot. So 2 to 3x leverage trade on top of Ethereum. I did really well with it. Do I think it's going to do well this cycle? Of course I do. It's Ethereum. I think it's always going to do well for us. OC, what about you? What was your number one earner last cycle, and what do you think it's going to do this cycle?
All right, the one that grew the most in my wallet, and this might come to a surprise for many, well, not really, it's USDT. So talking about USDT, I believe it's going to do this exactly the same. Start growing in my wallet, but not moving in price. That's my prediction, hopefully. Other than that, at my next crypto best asset, it was XRP. XRP and Atom. So I still believe that XRP is not dead or not quite there yet. I still have maybe 1 or 2 aces under its sleeve. I'm starting losing a little bit of that confidence on that statement, but still remains, right? I mean, we should not be just pretending that something is dying or going alive just because we feel so, but because the analysis is telling us, right? So right now, fundamentals on XRP, it looks like they are on a break or make line. And yeah, I mean, I'm also going to be looking at Atom. I mean, still, why it just holds a very special place in my heart, and that's why I'm gonna be holding it. Other than that, it goes
I'm thinking
Bitcoin,
about
and that is about it.
I'm thinking about selling all my Atom, just so you know, OC.
You know
Are
what?
you
I
serious?
Yep.
I
No,
just thought about
hold
when
it,
you were
hold
saying
it.
USDT. I remember telling Dave Digital, I was like, "Hey, man, USDC, man, that's the play. I guarantee you 5%." So hey, you can't lose, right? You can't lose. You can only gain.
Very true.
But you know what I thought about too was Cardano. So when I was holding, I forgot all about this. I rode Cardano up from $1 to $2.60. That was a really nice play for me. I think I had about 10K in that one as my initial investment. So yeah, but where do we think it's going to go this cycle? Well, we can already see it's not keeping up with everyone else. So that gives me a little bit of pause. Sorry, A to Ace, bro. It's not one that I'm super bullish on right now. Maybe once they get their marketing game a little bit tighter and they start really providing. I don't know. I hate to say providing utility, but I just don't feel like people are flocking to Cardano. Maybe I'm just missing it, but I'm not super
Absolutely.
bullish. I don't know.
Yeah. So I know that Crux, I don't know if he said it in there, VeChain was one of his big earners last cycle, and so was Luna until the collapse. So there you go. Yeah, he got caught in there. He got caught. But yeah, so guys, Eric Wallen asked me also, can you use the Lightning Network to move from Coinbase to Ledger cold storage? As far as I'm tracking, you cannot do that yet. That support is not available on the receiving end for Ledger. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be watching. Let's get into a quick chart. TradeFly, what do you got for us? And then we'll jump over to OCs. Let's see what you guys are looking at in the chart world there. And then we'll jump over and take a look at this article, this bill combining marijuana, banking, and stable coins. We'll take a look at what's in that article. So,
Right on. I got Coinbase up. There's a lot of Coinbase talk going around recently, and I just wanted to see like what was the reaction off of them, releasing the Lightning Network or making that more available. And yeah, it's down like everything else. So I guess it's not one of those news-driven events here. It's moving down. Looks like we're going to come back down and retest the support area at about 205 in really conjunction with the golden pocket. So could be a little opportunity to get back on the Coinbase train here as we come back down. We did get a pretty nice rejection off of the 382, and this is what I always look for when you have an area of resistance, a horizontal level of resistance, and then you have like the 382, and then you have the moving averages. What does that mean to me? It's going to be really tough to get through those areas. And sure enough, even something that had some momentum, which was Coinbase, got a pretty nice rejection off of that area. So come back down to the golden pocket, could be another opportunity. You might find it consolidating and finding a range, but if you're looking at this on the daily, unfortunately, it does look like it is starting to kind of reverse the trend. All right, so you're starting to see this down and right pressure. I don't really like to see that. That's not comforting. So what we would have liked to see is for it to come down, retest this, or not retest, but test the golden pocket here, find support. But what we would like to happen is for this to actually go up. So let me see if I can draw it. You want this to be higher than this area here. And if you don't see that, you're setting just a series of lower highs. That makes me a little bit nervous coming back down into the golden pocket for a second retest. But all is not lost. Let's go ahead and look at the prime oscillator to see what that's showing us. So when you look at that, this is actually showing you that we have a little bit more strength on this second retest here. So, that might not be a bad thing, and that hopefully will hold us up, because ultimately when you zoom out, the structure is still bullish, right? You still kind of see, I'm a terrible line there, but you can see it's still moving up and right. And that's, at least comforting, we'll say. And we had a big conversation about Coinbase the other day. I was in a Twitter space, and I think Coinbase is going to be that dominant exchange in the next cycle. I think it's really going to take the share, because if you look at Coinbase, not only are they doing well here in the States, but they're actually expanding international. All right. So they're really getting themselves out there, And anyone that's in bed with BlackRock, and BlackRock is saying you're going to hold, you're going to be our custodian for our Bitcoin, that's someone you need to take some interest in. So ultimately, still pretty bullish on Coinbase. If you zoom out and look at the weekly, try to wrap this up. But if you look at the weekly, we've already been up to 400. I don't understand with Coinbase how we can be at half of its initial value here, yet I feel like Coinbase is stronger than it was at that point. So let that sink in, right? Because they now have institutional backing. They're more involved than ever, and it is valued at half at which it was initially. So keep that in mind. I would still say I'm bullish on Coinbase long term.
Okay, cool. OC, what you got for us, man?
Well, I'm looking at CRV because CRV is not being performing that well, and we just are coming back down from an uprising channel we can see right here, and we have a low volume breakout. That low volume breakout usually indicates that we're not going that far down, or that we are very likely to do a retest before we keep moving downwards, right? So far, let's just take a look at where we are now. So we are the current previous low on this week, but not all the way down here with this other week. So we're in a somewhat strong-ish area here. So I say it will be likely, as we see a flip of the ribbon, to maybe go for a retest down in here into the lower area of the channel, and then maybe continue a little bit lower here. Remember, that needs to be confirmed with what Bitcoin is going to be doing. So if we see Bitcoin just stopping where is it right now, well, we're also going to be seeing this bounce on CRV. Other than that, let me just go back and take a look at Velo, because it's just playing out the way that we were expecting yesterday. So keeps pushing downwards. We have a flat bottom here. Just remember that I'm looking at a channel in this area. So we are finding a little bit more resistance down in the center. So we are not quite there yet on breaking the channel. We're still bullish, and we are hovering at the center of the zero line. So keep an eye on Velo because a good entry point could be at the dynamic reactor, or after breaking the channel and going for the retest and continuing to the upside. It's been holding on despite Bitcoin crashing a little bit. So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Let's jump over here to this news article and talk about this real fast, because this bill is coming out. For those that aren't aware, let's talk over here real fast. Let's go back here. So marijuana companies, dispensaries, they cannot put their money in a bank. I don't know if anyone knows this. I'm sure most people do, but they cannot put their money into a bank account because marijuana is not legalized federally, and the banking system falls under a federal entity, the Federal Reserve. So they cannot put their money in a bank. A lot of marijuana dispensaries have been using things like U.S. Stable coins, USDC, USDT, and these little exchanges where they can earn 5%, so on and so forth. That's where they've been putting their money at. Because it protects it. Some of these dispensaries are making millions of dollars a year, and for medical and recreationally approved states, and they don't have a bank to put their money in. They're at risk of having a mattress full of cash at their house, right, or a safe full of cash. So they're having to put their money in alternate locations. This new bill, now we can jump over here and talk about this, is combining marijuana banking and stable coins. Top Republican French Hill says he'd vote for it, according to Bloomberg. And top Republican French Hill told Bloomberg on Monday that he would be supportive of a bill that includes stablecoin regulation and a marijuana banking regime. Marijuana banking bill will allow cannabis dealers to have access to a banking system, and has been a priority for the Democrats. Getting across the aisle support here from the Republicans. Crypto-friendly top Republican Hill said who currently leads the House Financial Services Committee, focused on the digital assets, said he would vote for such a bill as lawmakers say that they are getting closer to crafting a final stablecoin bill. I would vote for it. if it were coupled. So this is they're kind of looking at this like, look, this banking system of USDT and so on and so forth, stable coins, if you will, is actually become the banks. So we need to try to figure out who else is using this as their bank, and then give some regulation to that. And while we're at it, fix this banking issue that the cannabis dealers have. I think it's a lot easier to catch bad actors and illegal activity if those companies are participating in the banking system. So, I think it's good for I think this is good news for the marijuana industry, being able to actually put their stuff in the bank. Look, my state has said this is okay. I've got a license from the state. I pay taxes in the state. I pay taxes to the federal government too, by the way, but you won't let me use a bank, the most basic service. I've had to use digital banking and stuff like that. That's where these people are putting their money. But I'm not sure that I'm happy with this bill rolling up stable coin watch systems, because I read through this article, and while they're talking about stable coin regulation, it's really a stable coin watch system and surveillance system on stable coins. So Tradefly, we'll go with you first on this, and then we'll come back around to OC. What are your thoughts on this bill? How do you feel about what they're talking about doing with stable coins, man?
Yeah, it's funny you are talking about this. I have a really good friend that is actually in that business, and yeah, what he does, I don't know directly how it all works, but he has different businesses like restaurants and things of that nature. But he always cash on hand, just like you're saying. Like he can't really put that money in the bank directly. So there is other ways around it, I'm sure. But hey, why have a CBDC when you can have USDC, right? So it's already there, and it's something that we can use. And I think ultimately one of the things that the government is going to use it for is, like you're saying, is to really track every transaction, and they'll know. I just hope that we can keep them away from that. But I think that is going to be in our future, probably in the next 10, 15 years. I see it as probably being maybe a primary method of us spending, and that way, like taxes, for them, like they're going to know to the dollar, to the penny,
Yep.
how much you owe. So
Yep, absolutely.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see, man.
Real quick, OC, do you got any thoughts on this? And we got to wrap it up. We're past the bottom of the hour, so.
Absolutely. Really quick, I just think that they're just a little bit too high on their stakes, because I mean the point here is that they're using cash, right? Remember, cash is king, and they are able to do a couple of laws and things that go with the digital money, just like Tradefly mentioned. So I don't know, trying to push them into a regulatory system when they're making their money legally, but they can overcome all of those restrictions. That might bring some, I don't know, some resistance. And by the way, I'm all about resisting the government, right? The government is not your friend. Just saying in this, there you go. Yes, it's not your friend, right? This is a great opportunity to start pushing into, all right, what are you going to be giving us to make it attractive, right, for the rest of the public to jump into this business? Because I mean, at the end of it all, in states, every citizen has to declare their taxes, right? And here in Mexico, it's a little bit different, kind of like the same, but I mean, you may know that in Mexico we are too creative. Not counting me, Mexican law, right? All right, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I just got told that. So yeah, back to you guys.
Interestingly enough, they're going to actually try to get this bill passed by rolling it up in a must-pass bill, and that would be, you ready for this, Tradefly? The Federal Aviation Administration Reauthorization Bill. That is due May 10th. So they're going to try to roll it into that. Right now, it's still not approved, but just so you know, they're trying to roll this bill into a must-pass bill because they play some shady shit over there in Washington, D.C. So there you go. Tradefly OC, you got anything you want to pass out to the people before we head out of here, man?
Dang, man, that's not what I wanted to hear.
I know, it's horrible, right?
Trying to taint my business, man. Come on. Yeah, hey, as always, it's great mixing it up with you guys. I was pretty active in the chat today, so it was dope talking to you. Mr. J, again, thank you very much. That's truly, truly appreciated. Giver's gain, baby. And with that, hey, Billy Goat Tales, I don't know if we mentioned that. That should be
we did not.
popping
Go
off
for
today.
It.
Yeah, There you go. That'll be going down tonight. And Trading Wars is actually today also. So me and OC will be on that again today. Live to fight another day. So hopefully I'll see you guys there.
Sweet. OC, what you got for him, man?
So guys, thank you so much for joining. Remember to hit that like button, because if you do, that gives you a guarantee that next time you visit Chipotle or any other tortilla restaurant, you do not get a counterfeited tortilla. By the way, if you want to know where or how to identify it, just look at like in a coin, look at the ridge, and it should be saying made in Mexico. If it does say it, it's a counterfeited tortilla. So stay safe out there and eat only MX tortillas.
OC, I love your outros, man. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow morning taking a look at what's coming tomorrow with the FOMC. Tomorrow, that's all that data is going to be coming out. So tomorrow morning, we'll take a look at that and see what's going on. Just remember those levels that we talked about today. I do still think we're going to see some more downside. But yeah, today, tune in today to the Trade Wars, Trade Fly at OC. Tune in this evening to Billy Goat Tells on X Spaces. And then tune in tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to bring you guys the news, the charts, and markets, and everything you need to have knowledge. Until then, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!